Hello friends, I'm the Otter, and we got some really bad news when it comes to the Turo car sharing network. And I only have like 5 cars, so I'm not too heavily invested, like $50,000, $60,000 worth. But don't think this is an isolated incident, because I found this on Reddit. So I'm going to present to you a whole bunch of news and findings that I found, and everything in this video is my opinion. Maybe I'll throw some stuff up on the board, but let's jump into how bad things are. So it's currently June 2025, and things started out absolutely terrible in January with a $275 month with fixed costs around $600 to $700 with car payments and insurance. So it was a net. So I lost $500 in January. February, we started cutting the rates, made about $1,000. That's $300 of profit after fixed costs, not including tires. So April came up to $2,400. So this is what I started doing in April. I started just slashing the prices to like $25. Get all 5 cars out. I don't care that they just beat the crap out of the cars. I just need some cash flow in this business. And things have just got progressively worse. Like, the problem is once you go under $30 a day, like the person who rents that car, I'm poor. Just to put this in perspective, but poor people who rent your car for sub $30 literally usually have kids, or they usually have dogs, or they usually smoke, and the cars are just getting absolutely destroyed as far as miles, tires, wear and tear, to the point like I know 100% it's not profitable. To put this in perspective, I was a Toyota mechanic for 15 years, and I do 100% of the cleaning, 100% of the mechanic work, except for tires, because I don't have a tire machine. When you have 5 cars with registration, it seems like you'll have some money in your bank account, and then all 5 registrations hit, and it's $2,000. And then the next week, it's tires, and you're like $4,000. So by this time in the year, 4 months in, I haven't even bought registration and tires. And when you rent a car out, the tires literally last about 1 year if you're actively renting the cars out. So let's take a look at May. We got $2,200. So the whole reason I'm making this video is because of May. So basically I've been digging on the back end of all the receipts and the payouts that Turo's doing. After getting my personal Toyota RAV4 absolutely destroyed, like I had to pull the hybrid battery out of the car, clean it. The guy returned the car 4 days late. So basically, being a Turo host is worse than being an employee, or you are an employee with 0 benefits. So I've been on the app for 10 years. They've never given me any kind of stock benefit. There's literally a $25 credit in there. But on a positive note, it has allowed me to have some kind of a flexible schedule to develop making YouTube videos, not on this channel, a different one. So I'm grateful for the platform, but it's literally on the downhill slope. So let me talk about May. My personal RAV4 just gets absolutely destroyed. The guy brings it back 4 days late. So I dig inside of the receipt here. I might pop it on the screen if I can find it. They didn't pay me for the 4 days. And we're talking about Memorial weekend, like a big rental car weekend. So, and then they declined the cleaning fee. So this guy destroyed my car, at least $1,500 worth of cleaning and maintenance to clean the chili off the hybrid battery. And he got a free 4-day car rental on Memorial Day with no recourse. So understand, if you are renting or you're thinking about it, you're literally, the guest is only liable to $150, and they're not even approving the $150. Like, change in management within Turo where they're just like declining all fees. So I'm just like, started digging, and the more I dig, the worse things get. Like, I found this guy on Reddit. He almost did $1 million and lost $200,000. To put this into perspective, with 5 cars, there's $700 in my Turo business account. So keep in mind, I do all the maintenance on the cars. Like 100% of the maintenance. Free labor. You would need a separate business entity to bill your rental car business to do that right. And I'm just trying to show as much profit as possible. So I talked to my tax guy about this, and I'm explaining things, and he goes, well, there is worse businesses out there. Uber's worse because there's no depreciation. So renting cars isn't the worst, but basically I'm just spinning my wheels. Like as soon as August comes, September 1st, I'm just gonna liquidate all the cars. I would rather go get a job because this is actually worse than a job. Like I could crunch it on the thing, but the cars, the income is literally on the downhill slope. So I buy cars under market value, bring them up to market value with like repairs, body work, etc. So these cars are only making $6,000 a year. And it's very difficult to find cars below market value, especially Toyotas. And after all the fees, it takes me like a year and a half renting cars. Do you know how many times you have to clean a rental car in 1 year? Like, it's just not a profitable business. Like, after reading, I don't know the details of this guy's business. He's obviously renting probably Ferraris, Supras, and Nissan GTRs in Las Vegas. But the repair costs, the tires on those expensive cars, this is a spin your wheel kind of business. So basically, I've realized what's going on with Turo. It's a conflict of interest. So when you rent a car from Enterprise, they care about their car. Like, they rent you the car, and they're like, yeah, we want our asset to be taken care of. Like, Turo does not give a shit about your car. All they want to do is collect fees. They just automatically put 1 month discounts into your calendar. So getting back to the RAV4, you cannot rent a $45 car where I live. And this is like a medium West Coast market. This isn't a good market. It's not a bad market. The car will sit all winter. So I just drive the RAV4 all winter. And the only rentals I can get are like $20 a day shitbox Toyotas. And so then I get this 1 month booking and I look and I'm like, $400? So Turo just automatically put a 30% discount on my car because they just want to get the fees. They don't care that my car is getting depreciated. So in that one instance, the girl who got the car for $400 for 30 days, she took amazing care of the car and barely drove it. That is the exception. Like the one I just explained earlier, I just had a 1 month rental in my RAV4 and the guy destroyed the car. Like his kids probably lived in the back seat. And he meant well. I could tell from like the way he talked to me, he kind of meant well. And he thought I was just going to let him, he wanted a discount. And I'm like, bro, it took 17 hours. It took me personally 17 hours with a steam cleaner to get the McDonald's goop out of the seats. Like the car is just permanent interior damage. Does Turo care? No, because there's another person who will come fill your place and depreciate their car. They'll get their fees. I'll move off the platform. The new one will move in, and then the new one will get their car depreciated, realize this isn't a good business, and move out. So basically, the conflict of interest. So I have a couple screenshots I'm going to throw up here on the screen. Let's take a look. Us into the next point here. So I'm like, what is going on? Like, I'm making less money. My cars are getting more destroyed. So I've been digging on this for 2 days because honestly, I'm so pissed off because my personal RAV4. So rule number 1, do not rent your personal car out. Go buy a shitbox Kia because it will get destroyed. Don't think you're gonna like rent your car out, make a few bucks, and then it comes back. They'll smoke in it. They'll put kids in it. We won't even go into the dog pee car. We'll go into that later. This is what's actually more important, is what is going on and why. So every single day, my bookkeeper assistant sends me the prices of cars. So we're on May 29th to June 1st. This is the hot season summer. So these are non-Turo cars, regular places. So I'm a normal person. I have a credit card. I can go get a Kia for $14. $14 to $35 at Enterprise or whatever at the airport. So the cheapest car on Turo is literally double. So this is what's going on. The Prius is $45. We'll call it an Outback, an SUV is $50. When we can get a midsize SUV at Enterprise for $30. So basically this is what's going on. I started my affordable rental car business because I was in Hawaii and I rented a Prius, and I was like, from a Turo host, and I was like, wow, this is sick. I'm gonna go home and start an affordable car rental business because you really care about money when you're traveling. So what's turned into, I have not had one traveling person this year. So the people who are renting my cars are local people in a desperate state. Like they don't have a credit card, they don't have the deposit to go to Enterprise, they don't have the tenacity to look up the prices like I do every single day. So basically Turo's preying, this is my opinion, they're preying on stupid people and poor people. And then I'm included in the batch of stupid and poor people because they don't even give me the properly collected fees from people keeping the car for an extra day. So this is kind of a vicious cycle. I'm very familiar. I've been in the car business for 20 years in various different car sales mechanics. So the car business, this is just a typical car business. It is fuck or be fucked. There's no fair, square deal. So in essence, reading through some of the declined fees and receipts, I'll pop here on the screen. It is basically, there's some benefit to being a Turo host because I do have a kind of a flexible schedule. I clean a couple cars. So I am grateful they built the platform, but things have been on a rapid decline. This is literally like having a job. I realize I do not own a business. I am a Turo asset or employee, whatever fancy lawyer talk you want to use. Basically, they declined the charge, declined the cleaning fee because I didn't report it within 24 hours because my car was stolen, and they didn't give me the 4 days of rentals. So that brings us into disaster car number 2 from May, why I started digging into here and what is going on. So essentially, I had a car. The guy booked it for 4 days. No, he booked it for 3 days. And then he extended 1 day. And then he brought the car back the next day. I reported it late. The guy abandoned the car in the driveway, just completely destroyed, dog hair, threw the key out next to it, not full of gas. So this guy, Turo did, sometimes they do a fair job. They gave me the cleaning fee, the extra gas fee, the extra miles fee. So he put 2,000 miles on this car in 4 days. So the math on that is 50 miles an hour, 18 hours a day or some crazy stuff. And then I'm reading through the detailed receipt and I reported the car was back at the exact time. I try to be fair to people. I don't like to give people fees. It's just super annoying. I need to give them the fees because you're depreciating my car 2,000 miles in 4 days. I don't even drive 2,000 miles a year sometimes. So I dig through the receipt. And they didn't charge the guy the extra day fee. So then I get on the phone and I'm like, hey, can I collect my measly $30 because I'm a stupid poor person who rents cars on Turo? And they're like, yeah, let me transfer you over to this place. So this place puts me on hold for 40 minutes and I hear the phone pick up. That's it. There's no repercussion. This is not your business. You are a Turo asset. Getting back to that Yaris. So I jump in that Yaris. Didn't get my extra day. I get in the car and go put gas in it and I'm like, wow, this thing smells like pee. So I had another Yaris that got destroyed because it's a very affordable car. Like the poorer people typically have dogs, kids, and just don't care about stuff quite as much. So this car, the Yaris, comes back and it's this is how you find dog pee in a car. You have to take your nose and go this far off the seat and find where the dog peed. So I steam clean the seat and the pee is so far down there because the guy drove 2,000 miles in 3 days or 4 days or something. So basically there was no time to take the dog out of the car. The dog just peed on the seat. The dog peed on every seat but the driver's one because someone was driving the car. So I stripped the seats down, and I learned this trick from a fellow mechanic. So I put the cloths in the washing machine, otherwise $2,000-$3,000 of damage, and I collected $150, and it was about 17 hours of free labor. So I'm a really good asset for Turo. They have 150. They don't even have any liability in the car. But I do want to say something positive, okay? So Turo's really good about collision damage, so I brought this up to my bookkeeper assistant, and they're like, yeah, Turo doesn't pay insurance claims. They're just juicing their insurance. And that's why they're super good about collision damage. So that brings us to my most profitable car ever on Turo. I bought a Yaris because I told you I went to Hawaii, want to start an affordable car rental business. Used to be pretty sweet, like pre-COVID. End of COVID was the best time, and we're still on the decline. So I bought this car for like $5,000. And I put like a week's worth of work into it. So the value of this car is now like $10,000 because it was just mechanically interior destroyed. So I'm $5,000 into the car. And someone totals it. So I got $9,000. That was the blue book on the book. And I'm like, wow, I made $4,000 on that car. Like the most, and then that $4,000 instantly had to go into the next car. It wasn't like profitable. And then basically depreciate the next car that I bought. But I basically should have known at that point because my bookkeeper assistant was looking and was like, you know, if that's your most profitable venture on this app, I don't think this is the best choice. And I'm like, shut up. I don't want your financial advice. You're just a bookkeeper. And really, I'm the stupid one for keep going on this. Like, I joined Turo in 2015 when it was a beta app, rented like 3 cars out on it, and was like, wow, that was stupid. Like, massive fees. I made like $40. I'm like, that's stupid. So then I put it down for 2 years or something, and then I got a couple cars. And 3 years ago, I left job, and I was like, financial freedom, boys. So 3 years ago, I am literally a slave. Like, I'm like, oh, wherever I go, I got to be in reception. I got to be like ready to check people's driver's license with cars parked down the street and keys hiding all over the place. And like, I'm like, what's literally better off? You would be better off working for Turo than renting cars on Turo, even though I hate the 9 to 5. So basically, New York State has leveraged some massive fees. So if you're a Turo host in New York, like you are just absolutely eviscerated right now. Like I tried to price a car out at New York Airport. It was $400 for one day for a Turo car at New York Airport. And then I priced out Enterprise and it was $20 after the fees. After the fees, same very affordable car. I don't know if you're a normal person like me. Like I want the cheapest car possible when I'm traveling because I'm spending all this money. So if you had $500,000 tied up into Turo cars in New York, like you're absolutely screwed. I saw some things where they're trying to move them out of state. And that's just basically so Turo can continue to collect the fees on those cars that are basically done in New York. So let's talk about liability. So my business is run in an LLC and the cars are registered in the LLC. So basically I carry all the risk, all the liability, and Turo just gets to take the little fee out while I carry all the liability of this. So once again, I'm always the cheap rental car guy. And this guy totals, he crashes into someone in my car. And the car was registered in my name. It was before I put it into a LLC thing. And that guy went after my personal insurance. So the like auditor of Geico calls me and it's like, why do you have 5 cars on your own policy and what you're renting cars on Turo? And I was like, I am, but the cars do have a commercial insurance. And he's like, well, the guy's coming after your insurance and we have to tell him no payout. And then the girl's like, let me put you on hold for a second. And my heart's racing. And she comes back and she's like, well, guess what? You're lucky. Because you don't live in fucking California, you're good to go. But if you lived in certain states like California or something, my whole entire car insurance policy would have just been eviscerated. So I used to have 5 cars, all of my personal policy, because you know you gotta go get the cars washed, I gotta get some tires, a DEQ, and it was like $230. And if you're a car person, you probably saw insurance go crazy in the last year or two. And then they called me one day and they were like, hey, if you want to keep your policy, it's going to be like $600 to keep 5 cars on it. I'm like, well, liability? And they're like, yes. I will pop my income on the screen. There is no profit in this business. Like I can't have a $600 insurance bill. So I'm like resourceful, you know, like I am grateful, you know, they do help me make money. It keeps me out of the corporate life, like by 7 millimeters. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to ride these cars dirty. Like, so all the cars have no insurance because there's no profit margin in all of this. So the cars don't leave the driveway. I park them on the street, risk them getting stolen, crashed. You know, it's just a risk I have to accept on them because there's no profit in this. And then when the trip starts, they get a commercial policy from Turo. So it's just not a sustainable business. So getting into like depreciation and stuff, like I remember watching this guy's YouTube video. It's called Super Speeders. He made a video on renting cars, and I probably watched this in like 2017. And he's like, Turo is a scam because the depreciation, and he rents exotic cars. I really like his YouTube channel. And I remember watching it, and I was like, I'm immune to that because I'm a car mechanic, and I can do all the maintenance. I will go around this. Even with free labor, wholesale parts accounts, I buy parts on eBay, Amazon. You got to pick the right ones on Amazon. You can buy some really junky car parts. Free labor, wholesale parts, I still can't turn a profit. So basically, you'll think you're rich on Turo. Like, I remember one time, like, there's like 20 grand in the account. And then slowly the money just got eaten away. Like 5 cars, $500 a piece for tires. Those are really cheap tires. You have to be resourceful to find tires that cheap. And eventually it just, you know, there's $700 in the account. I'm just spinning my wheels, even with free labor. So the thought of hiring someone is like, I can't even pay a kid, like there's no margin to pay a kid $100 to come clean cars. That's how bad things are. So let's put that into perspective. Like how many cars would I need to hire someone? 50 cars? But then we see this guy who makes $1 million and there's still no actual profit margin in there. So I don't know what to think of this. Like, I'm not super technical. I don't like have spreadsheets to go through it all, but I did hear about, there was an app that showed after every trip, like, and it equated that it just financially didn't make sense to rent cars on Turo, but then the app quickly disappeared. So let's get into some of the fees. So basically, I am renting this guy this car, and he's not the smartest guy. Super nice kid. And I just did all the math on his rental. He's had the car about, we'll say 30 days. He's $1,400 in this car, renting it. I see $900 of that. And I agreed to Turo's thing. They take 25% of the trip. And then I go price the cars out a month later, deep into summer. So that guy who's not the sharpest is overpaying $300 a month to have my Turo car, like because he has bad credit or something. And he's like the rare exception of like taking care of the car. He's like, well, I want to show you the car, bro. Like, make sure it's in good shape. And I'm like, there's good people out there, but it does come with a lot of the bad ones. So getting into the smoking fees, I was going through Reddit, and everything I just said is not an isolated incident. This is, Turo's not giving the fees. You know, like if someone puts a cigarette butt into your office chair, like this thing on a car, this piece is $400. That's not even the labor. It's a very difficult part to replace, the cloth on a seat back or the seat butt. And $150, that's it. And Turo's just bowing over to the guests right now because obviously things aren't going very good with them. They were supposed to go public and they didn't go public. But I think that's enough rambling. I think I vented enough. I'll do part 2 if it gets some views, and peace, guys.